Give up the fight for some other moment, some other life than here and now. Give up the longing for some other world, the wishes for other choices to make, other songs to sing, other bodies, other ages, other countries, other stakes. Purge the past and forgive the future, for each comes too soon. Surrender only to this life, this day, this hour, not because it does not constantly break your heart, but because it also beckons with beauty and startles with delight, if only we keep waking up. This is the gift we've been given. These body clothes, this heartbreak, this pulse, this breath, this light, these friends, this hope. Here we remember ourselves, all a part of it all, giving thanks together. Good morning. My name is Pam Romancic. I'm a queer, white, cisgendered woman whose pronouns are she and hers, and I get to serve this vibrant church here in Countryside. I'm also somebody who kept sending my adult children Easter baskets until they were well into their 30s, always with a toothbrush. They finally said enough. And Karen and I are also trying to limit sugar, so farewell, peeps. Whoever you are, whatever gives you joy, whoever you love, whatever identities you bring with you this morning, all are welcome here.
There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. And now is the time to light our chalice and begin our service. Hello, my name is Vlad Krostov and my pronouns are he, him. Our church shares a covenant that we make with one another, a promise that helps to remind us why we gather and how we want to be with one another. Please rise in body or spirit and join me in saying our covenant together and remain standing for our opening hymn. We unite to strengthen the bonds of kinship among all persons, to promote human dignity and to increase reverence for life's creating, sustaining, and transforming power through worship, study, and service.
So much. I'm going to now invite our young and young at heart to come up and wonder with me a moment. I invite Reverend Karen to come up too. Hi guys. Hello. So today is Easter Sunday. We're going to wonder. What do you wonder? What could be in our box today? Could be an egg. A bunny? A basket? Xander? Do you have another guess? An egg? Yes. Any other guesses? Those are some wonderful, great guesses. An Easter egg could be in there. Do we have a squirrel? Okay, I need somebody who's not ever opened. Oh, maybe a squirrel. There's a lot of amazing guesses here this morning. So, okay, who is going to open my box that has never opened the box before? Do we have anybody? You haven't? Come on. Yeah, come on, James. Let's see what might be in the box. And an Easter egg. There we go. Yes, the squirrel with, it might be the wrong rodent with the Easter egg, and that's okay. We figured in this church it had to be a squirrel, right? Okay. What's in the Easter egg? I don't know, but I think you guys are going to be running around out, maybe outside, looking for eggs in just a little while, huh? Okay, yellow eggs. Well, do you know what, can you tell me anything about Easter? Do you know what Easter is? Yes, Sandra. Easter is when Jesus came from the dead. Yeah, that's a big thing that we celebrate in the wider world, right? That is a really big celebration. And why do you think we celebrate Easter and Jesus rising from the dead in the springtime?
Because lots of babies are born that time and plants grow.
Plants grow and babies are born. Yeah, we have very smart children. They might not even have to go to RE Day. But now Karen has a story to tell you that will just talk about spring. Come on up, Reverend Karen. There will be pictures, so make sure you can see.
Alrighty then. James, you had an answer there. What was your answer? Why Easter? Okay, because way back in the beginning of the Bible, Eve ate an apple, and because of that, there's a need for an opening to the door to heaven. How about that? Thank you. Brilliant. Okay, today we have a story about spring. Why do you think I brought up an umbrella? Very beautiful, very colorful umbrella.
Spring rains.
Spring rains, right? You are right. Okay, well, here we have a story. When spring comes. There we go. Before spring comes, and good, you can even go to the next one. There we go, yahoo! Before spring comes, what do trees look like? Look like big sticks just hanging out there. Whoa. Huge sticks in the sky, bare and black against the sky. But if you wait, spring brings leaves and these beautiful flowers. Have you seen the trees with the white flowers on them? Yeah. Anyone with pink flowers? Have you seen any trees with flowers? They're beautiful. They're all there. If you wait, spring will make the leftover mounds of snow smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until suddenly they're all gone. Right? Do you see any snow on the ground anymore? No. I know, before spring comes, the grass is brown and it hides lots of mice. And sometimes those mice find their way into our houses, but hopefully not very often. But if you wait, spring will turn the grass green with little flowers. So I was out at my house yesterday and I found those little blue flowers in my grass. Is anybody seeing blue flowers in their grass yet? Yeah, purple flowered babies and dandelions. Everything is there. It's so exciting. Yeah, beautiful. If you wait, an egg will become a bird and a seed will start to grow. Spring comes with sun and it comes with rain and more rain and more rain. You were right, Xander. That's why we have this umbrella here. More and more rain. Do you all like mud? Anybody here like, oh, mud is great. Isn't it? Mud is great. Do you like puddles? What do you do in puddles? No, not everybody likes puddles. You splash in puddles. You jump in puddles? Yes, you do. And that's why we need umbrellas, because some of us like puddles and mud, and some of us not so much. Before spring comes, the garden is just dirt and empty. But if you wait, spring will push up green shoots, and the garden will be filled with all kinds of wonderful vegetables to eat. And spring will call out the pussy willows and new kittens too. Who said, I think it was you, Finley, who said that this is springtime is the time for babies to be born. Oftentimes that's true. I know we're going to have some babies in this congregation soon. Woohoo! Spring can come quickly or slowly, but it changes its mind a lot. But when spring is finally here to stay, you will know it. There will be buds, there will be bees, there will be boots and bubbles for everybody. There will be worms and wings and wind and wheels. You can feel it, you can smell it, you can hear it. Is anybody hearing spring out there yet? Yeah. Can you smell it in the air? Can you see it on the ground with all those purple flowers, even the dandelions? And even in some people's gardens, some people have actually started planting vegetables. Yes, Benji.
I have a crazy plant, baby ants.
And baby ants, yes, they come with baby ants too. I'm sorry to tell you that, but that is true. That is true. When spring is finally here to stay, you might say that you are done waiting for spring. But you know what? There's at least one more thing that you'll be waiting for. What do you think you wait for next? Yeah. For summer! That is awesome. What happens in summer?
The pools get open.
The pools get open. That is great. And you get out of school, I think. All of those things are fabulous. Okay, so we're all going to go back now and learn a little bit more about spring festivals. Would you like to come with me? And I will take this so that Allison can actually stand up and conduct the choir. That might be nice. Just so that the parents know, we will be having an Easter egg hunt outside at whenever the service is done, hopefully at 11. We'll see.
Okay, bye guys, have fun. Well, that was delightful, wasn't it? I'm going to invite Ryan to come up because we've been talking about the auction that's coming up. Thanks so much, Nancy. And he's going to be talking about the Raise the Paddle for our church.
Morning, everyone. My name is Ryan Shafius. My pronouns are he, him. As you likely know, the Time and Talent Auction, which raises funds primarily for our 3 outside service partners, as well as our own Chalice House, is coming Saturday the 26th. Partners for our communities, Illinois Community for Displaced Immigrants, and Faith in Place, whose efforts this event supports, provide basic needs, programs, and case management services that are more important than ever in our region's most vulnerable. So I hope you can attend. For more information, you can talk to Nancy Dempsey after the service at the Time and Talent auction table. This year, there are 2 Raise the Paddles for CCUU, and we heard from Siri Lauren a few weeks ago about the native plants we hope to place in our landscaping to reduce maintenance and overall costs. The second of these raises is easily as practical, and we hope has the effect of bringing more families to our services. We love to have families with babies and toddlers as part of our community, and welcoming those families can be complicated. This weekend, we heard the joyful sounds of children excitedly searching and shouting and eventually all working together as they hunted for the afikomen at CCU's Seder dinner. However, sometimes a parent faced with the screaming laughter and excitement of a toddler during service can be a bit much for them. When my kids were babies and toddlers, we were extremely thankful to have an amazing caregiver where we could drop them off in the nursery, and it allowed us to participate more in and enjoy many more Sundays here. And it helped us to become part of this community. So let's help the families spend their Sunday mornings at CCUU. The money we raise will enable us to hire a caregiver for our nursery so that parents can drop off their youngest ones and find a little quiet time and much needed sanctuary in our Sunday morning services and allow them to participate in important church meetings. I can personally attest that having a nursery caregiver has provided great value, and it's been a boost for families in the past as well. So let's help draw more families to CCUU by offering this valuable support for parents. Our goal is to raise $2,000 to hold in the church's budget for this purpose. Please chip in if you can, and on behalf of the board, thanks to the OSC for this tremendous effort putting the Time and Talent event together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ryan. I'm going to now invite Allison to come talk, because that is coming up on the 26th. But today we will share our Sunday collection, and Allison is going to speak to our Share the Plate today.
Good morning, happy Easter. I'm Allison Vernon, Director of Music, she, her. And I'd like to thank you in advance for the Share the Plate today, going to the Association for Unitarian Universalist Music Ministries. We are an organization that is sponsored under the UUA, but we get no financial support from the UUA. When I began here at Countryside 10 years ago, there was very little UU music available for us to do. Most of our tradition has been in the Christian European style, and you will hear some of that this morning as we are going to sing Bach for you in just a few minutes. But we needed something that fit our services. And over the last decade, through the association UUMM, so I don't have to say that whole long, we call it ALM. For ALM, we get together in a wonderful conference once a year, and we have workshops, and we put together music. We seek music, and we have now some wonderful composers that are putting together music for all kinds of activities that we do in the UU Church and that reflect our values. And music is important, and music is also important in this church. And by the way, music is important outside the church. One example is just recently in Washington, D.C., as federal workers were losing their jobs. The UU Church in Washington banded together with other churches who felt that this was wrong and stood at the metro stations where people were coming out of their offices for the last time, having lost their jobs, and sang music of support to these people as they came to get on the metro to go home and not have a job. And it meant a lot. So if you can support us in any way today, sharing the plate with us, we are so very, very grateful, and thank you very much.
Most of us dream of having an impact on our community. It is challenging to have that impact alone, but together, with generosity of spirit, financial gifts, time, and love, we build on the mission we envision. The offering will now be gratefully received.
Praise
Aren't we lucky and blessed this morning? With that, as a lead-in, I invite you to take a deep breath in and then release any remaining anxiety or worry that came in on your body this morning. Breathe it out. Allow it to drain down your back, through your hips, knees, calves, out the bottom of your feet, into the rich, dark earth below. We have a reflection by Victoria Savard. Have you seen the trees? Have you seen the maple buds, the magnolias swelling, the poplars, the first lacy pale spray across the shoulder of the hills, the forsythia, or as one child I know calls it, the three-scythia, or the two-scythia. And those three small, flowering, perfect crabapple trees in the park. Strong little trees begging children to climb them and get lost for a while in their magical pink canopies. Did you smell the rain this week and the muddy, ready earth receiving it? Did you smell the musty, lusty, moldy pile of leaves all thawed now, and underneath the moist, living earthworms, wide awake? Is it safe, I wonder, to presume that we have all seen the dead resurrected? Can we presume just quietly among us this basic fact? Can we admit, however carefully at first, however foolish it may sound, that once or twice in our lives, perhaps over and tumbling over, we have seen events miraculous? Choose the words you will, whatever words you need. If miracle cloys, try unexpected, surprising, unanticipated, lucky. That which has been given us, the second chance, the second wind, by the grace of God knows what. The dead shall rise again. We know because we've seen it. Did the sun come up this morning, no thanks to us and all for us? And did the earth awake again, or did it not? We will testify to the resurrection. This morning, as a gathered community, we recognize the joys and the concerns that we hold amongst us, knowing that our sorrows are halved and our joys are doubled when we share them. I want to share one huge joy for the wonderful time that was had by everyone who attended the Seder on Friday. Thank you to Carol Bobby, Linda Berry, Karen Epps, George and Kathy Motto, the young adults who set up, Cindy Thornton, Jeff Phillips, Rev Karen, and so many other people who jumped up to help in the moment. The children ran around finding the afikomen, and it was a delightful evening. Thanks to everyone who made it such fun. Richard Urban shares that his bypass surgery will be held on April 22nd. And he reminds us of the Irish proverb, "Under the shelter of one another, we live." Our love is with you, Richard. Finally, congratulations to Christina Smith, who writes, "My son Sebastian and his wife just had their first baby, my first grandbaby. Lemmy Elena Miranda was born on April 13th. Leilani and Quinn are very excited to be an aunt and uncle. We say yay for the whole family, and welcome, Lemmy." For all those other intentions which might rest in the silent sanctuary of our hearts this morning, know that you are held, you are loved, you have a place here that will support you. Please remain seated as we sing Spirit of Life.
Our first reading today is by Rabbi Rami Shapiro from Living the Impossibility of Escape. The bulk of the book of Ecclesiastes is an examination of life without escape. It offers no alternative to impermanence, and hence it is profoundly non-religious. Religion is all about escape, but what you really want to escape from is inescapable. It is yourself. As long as there is an I seeking salvation, redemption, enlightenment, heaven, nirvana, or surrender, there is no salvation, redemption, enlightenment, heaven, nirvana, or surrender. The more you struggle, the stronger the I becomes, and the tighter the noose of despair grips your every living moment. You cannot understand the book of Ecclesiastes merely by reading it or even studying it closely. You only understand Ecclesiastes when you live the truth its author perceives. The truth of endless emptying, Havel Havalim, no escape. The truth that there is nowhere to go and nothing to get, only this moment to live. Thus ends the reading. And the words hopefully will be up on the screen, and I will signal for you for the responsive part. In the tomb of the soul, we carry yearnings, pains, frustrations, loneliness, fears, regrets, worries. In the tomb of the soul, we take refuge from the world and its heaviness. In the tomb of the soul, we wrap ourselves in the security of darkness. Sometimes this is a comfort, sometimes it is an escape. Sometimes it prepares us for experience. Sometimes it insulates us from life. Sometimes this tomb life gives us the time to feel the pain of the world and reach out to heal others. Sometimes it numbs us and locks us up with our own concerns. In this season where light and dark balance the day, we seek balance for ourselves. Graceful for the darkness that has nourished us, we push away the stone and invite the light to move within us. Help us to believe within us and on us, possibilities for new life in ourselves and in our world.
Usually, Easter is a pretty simple no-brainer in my ministry. As Unitarian Universalists, we don't necessarily share in the "He is risen" triumphalism going on around much of the country and the world. We do look at the rich meta-narrative that can be pulled from the ancient Easter story. That story of a wandering Jewish rabbi who taught 2,000 years ago has to have something pretty deep to have lasted this long. Even discounting supernatural claims, the life of Jesus of Nazareth reaches through the centuries, offering us new insights and inspiration for each succeeding generation. He was both a good Jew and a heretic. He affirmed the value of every human life in a culture that did not. He taught that every single person mattered and was worthy of respect and dignity. He spoke truth to power, and he urged folks to look at their own flaws before pointing it out in others. His life force was so strong that the people he was with were sure that he was still around long after he had died. This is the story of Jesus, inspired me to be my best self since I was very young. The tale of 3 days in the tomb, followed by a glorious resurrection, is a wonderful metaphor for surviving hardships, for being reborn into new and more vibrant life when the old one has fallen away, for whatever reason. And most of us, I think, when we really think about it, we can recall a time when we faced something very difficult, when we experienced a loss that was just too big. And yet, when we came through to the other side, we found ourselves stronger for the challenge, a little bit wiser than we were before. The Easter moment of death and life and rebirth is about hope. It's about believing that the stone will roll away and there will be a brighter day. It's a great story. Sometimes it doesn't fit. At least it didn't fit for me one year. That Easter moment was not going to pull me through that year, because that was the year my mom had a major stroke 6 weeks after my dad had died. It was a year of traveling back and forth to Ohio, trying to support her healing when it didn't look good at all. And it was really hard to find hope that year. Maybe for some of us, it's hard to find our Easter moment in the way the world is around us this year. Things feel pretty bleak on a national level, maybe a little bit out of control. I mean, we've been watching such bizarre events unfolding at the top of our government. Incomprehensible attacks on learning, on immigrants, on people simply trying to live their own identity as they know it. We've watched the dismantling of the Environmental Protection Agency when we need it most, and the destruction of institutions like Social Security that so many people need to survive. Not to mention we're in the midst of the 6th great human-caused extinction. Oh yeah, can't forget that. So maybe it doesn't feel like an Easter moment right now, does it? Maybe it feels kind of bleak and kind of depressing, and maybe it feels like we're stuck in the darkness of the tomb. What happens when you're not feeling the rising tide? What happens when you're heading into challenges that you don't know what's going to happen next? I know there are folks right here in this church facing challenging circumstances, facing big losses, fearing for loved ones, not knowing what's going to happen next. Definitely feels more like a darkness of the tomb than an Easter moment. So where's the spark needed to keep hope alive? Is hope a good thing? This is going to be a really different Easter sermon. Buckle up. Teacher, activist, and spiritual warrior Margaret Wheatley persuasively contends that hope is not always helpful. She says that in her dark moments, what helps most is letting go of hope, letting go of attachment to outcomes, letting go of what she thinks she needs, and then from letting go, moving into a place of curiosity, a place of being able to imagine possibilities that are beyond hope. The title of today's service, "The Cup is Already Broken," comes from a traditional Buddhist story that was retold by Jack Kornfield. In his reflection on the wisdom of uncertainty, Kornfield writes, "One day my teacher held up a beautiful teacup. To me, this cup is already broken, but because I know its fate, I can enjoy it fully here and now. And when it's gone, it's gone. When we understand the truth of uncertainty, we become free." End quote. We all know people who worry too much about stuff, who don't use the good china because it might break, so they never use the good china. Or they stop the children from running and having fun because somebody might fall and skin a knee. I admit, the thought did cross my mind as the children were running, screaming from one end of the church to the other Friday. But they all survived intact, and I think they'll have great memories of that evening. According to Wheatley, giving up hope means giving up the idea that life can ever go perfectly or smoothly, like we want it to. But no hope. No hope is good? Well, yes and no. Buddhist teaching stresses that letting go of hope is the first step towards peace and sustainable action. Because Wheatley writes that that hope never enters a room without fear at its side. If you hope you can accomplish something, you're also afraid you might fail. What if our actions don't work? What if we can't save the world? What if we are truly powerless? End quote. Big hope is accompanied by even bigger fear. And letting go of hope lets us release the fear as well. Because really, fear is one of the biggest causes of suffering in the world. It causes us to want to be certain, to be right, and to make other people wrong. And while we think that other negative emotions like greed or anger are the source, if you look below anger and greed, you almost always find fear hiding underneath. Christian mystic Thomas Merton wrote, "Do not depend on the hope of results. You may have to face the fact that your work will apparently be worthless, and even achieve no result at all, if perhaps results opposite of what you expected to happen. But as you get used to this idea, you start more and more to concentrate not on the results, but on the value, the rightness, the truth of the work itself. You gradually struggle less and less for an idea and more for specific people. In the end, it is the reality of personal relationships that saves everything." Personal relationships save everything. Jesus' followers were filled with fear when he was crucified. What would happen to them? Would they be next? The apostles huddled in a room and hid from the Romans and the Jewish leaders and tried to stay safe. But then something happened. In the Gospel of John, chapter 20, reports that Jesus came to them in a locked room. On the evening of the first day, when the disciples were together with the doors locked, Jesus came and stood among them and said, "Peace be with you." After he said this, he showed them his hands and his side. And the disciples were so overjoyed that they saw the Lord, they were no longer afraid. The worst had happened. Jesus had been killed, but it didn't mean he was gone. His teaching and his love lived on amongst them for, a couple thousand more years. It's hard to be our best selves when we're afraid, isn't it? Sometimes we circle the wagons in our hearts. Sometimes we try to shut out people that might feel threatening. Sometimes we see enemies where they don't exist or take offense when none is intended. In conversations with colleagues, I've been hearing a lot about some cranky behavior in churches. Petty squabbles, people finding fault with one another, not behaving like they usually do. We agreed, it's just a reflection of what the world going on in the world around us. The anxiety that pervades the wider world and makes everybody feel a little bit on edge. We see it when we see normal, kind, loving grown-ups suddenly behaving like middle schoolers. I know, I've done it myself. I felt myself riding a wave of frustration or missed connections or felt like just something's going wrong. And if I really stopped and looked around, it was just fine. It would be okay. Whatever I forgot. Even if it's my daughter's birthday, which I did forget yesterday, and I hope she'll forgive me. See? I'm saying this out loud, so she'll forgive me. If we can remember to come back into this moment, if we can remember that we are living in an ungrounded time, that the world around us is not grounded, that so many things are out of control, it's understandable that we find ourselves sometimes not showing up as fully as we want to be. Because really, the past 40 years have seemed, the world seemed pretty stable, and right now it's wobbling. And it's no surprise that we might feel wobbly as well. And this is where Buddha's teachings on an Easter Sunday morning can help. Because they can help us remember to live in this moment. You probably heard the story of the strawberries, of a person running, being chased by a tiger through the jungle, and running so fast they slip off the edge of a cliff. And as they slip, they catch hold of a vine. But the tiger's at the top of the cliff, and when they look down, there's very sharp rocks at the bottom of the cliff. And as they're hanging there, they notice a little mouse walk up and start chewing on the vine. But then they also notice that there's a strawberry plant growing right in front of their face. And there's ripe, delicious strawberries growing on that plant. So they take a strawberry, they put it in their mouth, and they enjoy that moment. Kornfield says that our lives, almost all the time, feel like that. If we're running away from something, we're afraid of something in the future, we feel like the thread is getting thinner and thinner. We got to look for the strawberries. Something delicious, something we can savor. One theory about Jesus' wisdom is that he spent the lost years before his public ministry studying Buddhism in India. Did anybody here hear that? I don't know if it's true or not, but, I don't think it matters. I tend to believe that he just paid attention to his mother when she taught him the wisdom of the natural world. But it doesn't matter. He often said that we shouldn't be anxious about the details of this life. In Matthew 6, he says, "Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow, nor reap, or store away in barns, and yet our Heavenly Father feeds them. And see the flowers of the field, how they grow. They do not labor or spin, and yet I tell you, not even Solomon in all of his splendor was dressed like one of these." Can you add a single hour to your life by worrying? It's all very Buddhist, isn't it? It's all kind of amazing how all of the world's wisdoms can kind of blend into one. Living behind hope and fear points to being grounded in this particular moment. Being grounded in what is in front of us, in our relationships with one another, and paying attention to how we want to act in the world rather than what might be threatening us on the outside that we have no control over. Maybe the cancer will come back, maybe it won't. We can sit in our rooms worrying, or we can live as fully as possible in this moment. Maybe our children will succeed in school and become wealthy. Or maybe they'll live lives of connection and relationship that look nothing like what society says is successful, and they'll be happier than everybody else. We live in a time of chaos and confusion where nothing we have relied on to make sense is holding up, and that's disturbing. But perhaps our way back to an Easter moment is simply to relinquish control, to open ourselves wide open to curiosity and possibility and wonder, and to develop a lifelong practice of letting go. Sometimes the world outside is too big, too overwhelming, too much, but the world in front of us is doable. You can reach out in relationship with a neighbor, a coworker, a person on the street, with that person that really pissed you off last week, when really they didn't do anything. Maybe you should go back and go, I value that relationship. I want to be in that relationship. That's where my joy actually can be found. Whatever this year is for you, wherever you find yourself in the ongoing cycle of life and death and rebirth and renewal, whether it's an Easter morning that you're on this moment, or whether you're still in the darkness of the tomb, remember to taste your strawberries. Use the good china. It's already broken in some reality anyway. The life that we love and think we can control is already gone. So embrace this one. Celebrate this one. Find yourself an Easter moment in the people around you and in the love that you have to give. Amen and hallelujah.
Please join us in saying our closing words together. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of its truth, the warmth of this community, nor the fire of our commitment. These we carry in our hearts and share with all the world. Please rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn.
Please be seated. Our closing words are from Diego Valeri. You who have an eye for miracles regard the bud now appearing on the bare branch of the fragile young tree. It is a mere dot, a nothing, but already it's a flower, already a fruit, already its own death and resurrection. Go forth today and revel in whatever resurrection speaks to you. We are all reborn in springtime.
You may join in singing with us if you would like.